We are on Somerset Island up in the Canadian Arctic in the territory of Nunavut. And right now we're overlooking Cunningham Bay. The primary reason that we're here is for studying the belugas. Approximately 2,000 belugas come into the mouth of Cunningham Inlet and reside in the bay, come and go from the bay during the summer months of July and the first part of August.
Somerset Island is actually uninhabited with the exception of Arctic Watch, which is an expedition outpost that invites guests to come and enjoy the nature of the Arctic. That's the only human life here on Somerset Island. It actually really makes a great control site to understand how these animals live their lives and see how this population compares with more impacted populations as a result of human interactions in other parts of the world.
The ability to get close to the animals is really ideal. I've never been or seen a situation where we can get this close for observational studies. We're really looking at three major areas. One is photo ID, working with Gretchen Freud and Nansen Weber. And their goal is to try to identify unique characteristics on the belugas so we can identify individuals and then track these individuals over time, see if the same individuals come back. The second area would be behavior, trying to understand what they're doing here, what behaviors we're seeing.
These animals are so fun to observe from a behavioral perspective. They're very animated. They engage in a lot of different behaviors that we have already been able to categorize into different overall categorizations of behaviors. We see a lot of swimming behavior, different kinds of swimming behavior. We see a lot of milling behavior. Milling behavior is kind of like hanging out in a general area. There's no movement in one particular direction.
We have seen some feeding behavior. We've seen play behavior with juveniles. We've seen mother and calf bonding.
And then finally, what's very unique to Cunningham Inlet is that we see a lot of rubbing behavior.
It's easy to really rub against the shallow waters in the delta. We think that they're trying to get their old skin off as they undergo their annual molt. The third area would be passive acoustic monitoring. Working with Woods Hole, we have a digital acoustic monitoring device which we've attached to the tower and put underwater.
There's quite a literature out there on their vocalizations. It's been well characterized, but it is not well tied with their behavior, so we don't necessarily know what those vocalizations mean for the belugas. We haven't translated the language, so to speak.
And ideally, we'd like to pair the behavior with the vocalizations, and that's an effort that we'll be moving toward in the future.
We also have lots to learn about their social structure, how big their group sizes are, what is the degree of relatedness of animals within groups, how rigid or fluid are those groups. Those kinds of questions we can also address here.
This year, the primary goal was to look at the feasibility of doing research, to see what type of research we can accomplish, and to dive deeper into that, to actually gather some pilot data while we're here. Of course, our next step is trying to get the work funded so we can conduct a 3 to 5 year study and come back summer after summer to study the whales. So we learned a lot from being here, what we need to make it happen, to make the data collection better, and what information we can gather and how much time it will really take. We don't know what impact the changing climate is going to have on the whales.
Climate change, we anticipate, will have a big impact up here because it will really change the ice patterns over the seasons. And these beluga whale movements are very much impacted by the ice patterns in these waterways. They obviously can't swim where there's ice.
So we want to try to get an assessment of how the populations are behaving, what their health status is, and we can do that by comparing different populations in different parts of the Arctic. It's even more important that we establish some protected marine areas so the belugas can continue to utilize this area. So we want to show the importance of this area to the belugas and show that perhaps, yes, the same animals are coming back and why it's such an important and valuable ecosystem to them. And they need protection as well as their habitat.